Let me tell you why I'm here today. I'm here today because I got a text from my daughter on Saturday, and she told me that my granddaughter, who is 6 years old and is in kindergarten, first grade now, in Brooklyn, New York, just told her that she had learned at school to not stand by the windows when there is an active shooter in her school and to get down on the floor. My granddaughter is 6 years old, a first grader. That's a warning that's being given to her. Is there any sane American who believes that's acceptable in the United States of America? That we are teaching first graders to get down on the floor if there's an active shooter who comes into your school? Sadly, that is the reality of gun violence. There are many forms of it, and people here will speak to different forms of it. The most recent example, though, in Parkland, Florida, is a reminder that we need to do more. I'll also tell you this, that last Sunday, when I turned on the Sunday morning shows and heard those students from that high school, from Douglas High School, get up and speak, I thought to myself, if I'd have known them in advance and trained them, I couldn't have made them more effective in their presentation. They spoke from the heart about what they had just lived through and the tragedy that had come to their school and to many of their friends just a few days before. And they spoke from the heart in admonishing politicians across the United States to stop the BS, in their words, when it comes to gun control and gun safety. We all know that over 90% of Americans believe that we should have meaningful background checks to keep guns out of the hands of people who will misuse them. We all know that we need to do more in the United States to close the loopholes where people can avoid background checks before they buy deadly firearms. Everyone understands that there is no place in a civilized country for people to have military assault weapons and be able to buy them and take them out on the streets and into the schools and kill people on a basis that we've never seen before in American history. Everyone understands that these high-capacity clips that hold all these bullets to kill all these people may have some value to a soldier and in some rare cases to a policeman, but never, never to an ordinary American citizen, a hunter, a sportsman. That's the reality. And the question is what we will do about it. First, we'll be outraged and saddened by what happens in Parkland, Florida, and other places. And we'll make our speeches, and the news coverage will be there for a while. But then a week from now, what's going to happen? The question is whether or not Congress will do anything about this. And the only way that Congress will do something about it is when the voters decide to do something about it. When they stand up and say, we're going to ask every candidate from either political party the same hard questions about gun safety, and if you come back to us with the wrong answer, we'll do everything we can to defeat you.
10 years to the day of the shooting down in Parkland, Florida, I was at Northern Illinois University when a gunman entered my classroom, killing 5 of my classmates and wounding an additional 17, including myself. I was shot twice in that shooting, and I'm lucky to be here today. I'm lucky that the shooter only had a shotgun and several handguns. If he had a military assault weapon, I wouldn't be here today. That's why the death count at NIU wasn't so high. There were 150 of us in that classroom, in that lecture hall. So on the day that the Parkland shooting happened, I was gathered with the victims, the survivors, the families, in a room as we were about to go place the wreaths on my classmates' memorials for the 10-year memorial when news broke out about the shooting. The looks of the people in that room on their faces were just in awe. The families, the victims, the survivors. We were just saddened by this to happen. A shooting happening on the anniversary of another shooting. It just made that day so much harder as we were trying to remember our classmates. I just ask, please, please, don't say, already the laws in the books are fine enough. They're not. Clearly they're not. Since NIU 10 years, I've seen shooting month after month, year after year, nonstop, and it just brings back all those memories in my head of what happened to me 10 years ago. And I just ask, please, please consider doing something. There's no need for assault rifles on the streets for any civilian to own one. Expanding background checks for all gun sales, including online, private sales, closing the gun show loophole, these are things that are not going to affect the Second Amendment rights of people. I just don't understand. I can't. What happened to me, I don't want to happen to anyone else, and I'm just sick of it.
My name is Francine Brown, and I'm a graduate at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, class of 2009. Before February 14th, where I graduated held no national merit. Before February 14th, when people would ask where I'm from, I'd say a suburb outside of Fort Lauderdale called Parkland. It's only 2 exits on the highway. You wouldn't have heard of it. Before February 14th, our city and our high school was our own best-kept secret. Now, Parkland is home to yet another 17 lives lost as a result of preventable gun violence. Parkland is home to hundreds of grieving families, students, and alumni. Parkland is home to candlelit vigils, memorials, funerals, and an overwhelming sadness. But remarkably, it is also home to something else. It is home to masses of teenagers under voting age working diligently to make a difference. It is home to strong leadership and future politicians. It is home to a prime example of what can happen when people from all different backgrounds decide to come together for the sake of their children. As an alumnus, I am so incredibly proud of the MSD students, and I encourage every one of their efforts.